Hi, welcome to Game Creation, and in today's video we're going to be looking at the player controlled tetromino. So we're looking at how we're going to judge where the player is, like how we're going to store that data, and hopefully at the end of today and tomorrow's video we'll have the player actual object moving down and all of that sorted, which would be really nice. We shall see. So far we've made the array, which is great, and we've shown the array for the pieces that are static, so not the player control pieces. So that array is ready to go, but we need to have the player controlled tetromino first, and then we can actually start manipulating that array. So let's get started. So I'm going to start off just by looking at the Tetris gameplay, and what I find it really useful for this project is to figure out how I'm going to work out where all these pieces are, because we're going to be drawing these separately. So we're not going to just copy and paste the whole piece. We're going to do it as 4 pieces, which is much more useful, because when you destroy a row, you can destroy like half a piece and stuff. So that's not useful to think of the shape as one whole one, just 4 squares. And what would be useful is if we can find one of these pieces that represents the whole piece, kind of a masterpiece, and then the other 3 will just be, based on where that piece is. So we've kind of got 2 contenders really, this one and this one, because all pieces are created on the first row or the second row, but remember it's 0 base. So this is the 0th row, and this is the first row, and some pieces like the long stick one are just on the first row, and some pieces, like this one, are on the second and third row. So we want a piece that represents the whole thing. Now on my post-it note, what I've done is I've created like all the shapes and where they start. So this is the first column, second column, third column, fourth column, fifth column, which is not a great way of numbering it, because that doesn't take into effect that the array starts at 0. However, you can see this is in the 4th column, this is in the 5th column, this is in the 6th column. So let's just switch over to that. And what I've done is I've worked out where all the corresponding squares are on each tile. So this one is perfect to use on this one. This is what we said, the 6th column, which is technically the 5th column because we're 0 based, but still. And it works perfectly on all these tiles apart from this one. So this one's going to be pretty useless, because we want the main tile to represent the whole shape, or if it's not in the shape, then it's not going to be very good at doing that. If we pick this one, it works for all but 2 of them, and the final one, which is the one we're going for, is this one. This one is present on all shapes. On every single shape, on the first row, the 4th column, because remember this is 0 base, so it's the 4th column, so it's the first row, 4th column, there is a tile there. So we guarantee that there is a square on that section of the game area, which is nice. And then we can draw in the other shapes based on what tetromino we have. So we can draw in the other squares. So a little bit complicated, but if I reference the main tile, this is the one I'm referencing on each of these tetrominos. And this is probably a good time to actually number these. It doesn't really matter what I number each of these, but it is quite useful to have a numbering system to remind me of which one I'm doing. I'm probably in the array, I'm going to be using the numbers anyway. So I'll have 2 up here, and number this 3, and number this 4, and I keep this with me, so if I'm like, oh god, which tile number is that, then I can just quickly reference this. It's nice and easy, isn't it? So 5, 6. Now I'll leave this long one for 7, The reason being is the long one does have some complications attached to it with the graphics. So if I leave it at 7, I've got 8, 9 and 10 to worry about the graphics. Each of the other ones are just drawn with the squares just all the same. The long piece is not drawn with the squares the same. So if I show you here, each of these are drawn with identical squares apart from the long piece. So we might want to deal with those graphics in section 8, 9 and 10 maybe later on. So I'm not necessarily going to do that, but it just keeps the door open, so a bit of forward thinking. So what we're going to do is create just this seed, kind of the first block, the main block, and let's go through to our game. So this is our game so far. We've got the nice array drawn out. And remember, the array is not this is just representation of the array, so this is just the created from the array. And our block is going to be, it's the fifth one, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, so it's this one here on the first row. And remember, the top row is used in game only if you flip the tile straight away. So if you flip the tetromino straight away, then this can be used, but otherwise it won't ever be used. It's nice because we don't have to worry about the array being off screen, which is good. So this one will always be used. So how are we going to store that data? Well, I was going to do it with a different array, but there's absolutely no reason to do that, and it will just add more complication having two arrays and comparing two arrays, and it's completely unnecessary. What we should do is create a data store object. And you could do this with globals, but with globals you only get so many. And with this, we can name this, which I can call it the, I don't know, player data store. And with these, basically what I'm using, I'm creating that active just to access a whole load of alterable values. And I colour it just in case I do another one, which I'm sure I will do for score or something else. I can just colour it something different, and the more you use it, the more you're like, oh, the purple one's the one for player, you know. And so we'll need the main tile for a main tile X, and we need the main tile Y. So that's how we're going to reference what coordinate the player is currently in. And what we can do is we can do other one X. I'm just going to copy this. Other one Y. Other 2X. Other 2Y. Other 3X. And other 3Y. It gets a bit boring naming these. However, later on, as we're coding, it's so much easier because you can see straight from the code what it is you're changing. So this is going to be the X and Y coordinate of our main block, the block I've been talking about at the start of this video. Then these are just the three other pieces. And so what I'm going to do is manipulate this one, and then maybe have a system of creating these ones based on these ones. Which is not going to be easy to do. So I'm really only interested in main X and main Y for this video today, and then we'll have the fun of working out where the other ones are, and yeah, should be fun. Okay, so we just want at start of frame, and what I want to do is set the alterable values. So main X will be 4. And main Y will be 1. So main Y will always be 1 for that piece, and main X will always be 4 for the start. Remember that it says a 5 here, but it's 0 based array, so it'd be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, not 5, because I'm an idiot. I didn't number these properly. And that's what you'll find with 0 based and 1 based. You'll always have some figures wrong. You'll always be off by 1 and have to sit and fix it. So if we run that, and I select the player data store, and I go into the triple values. There we are, 4 and 1, so we know where the player is. Now every time interval the thing will go down, so what I want to do is figure out what that time interval will be. So I'm going to create a different data store. I said I would. And I think this will be called the kind of level data store. So this will be our level data. And first thing I want to do is tick time. So every tick the player will move down, but how long is that tick time? So if I put it as 10 thousandths of a second, and what we do is we say every, use calculation, and we're going to get that. The reason we store that as a triple value is as you go through the game, it's supposed to get harder by decreasing that tick time, making it quicker. And all I'm going to do is every tick time, every every 10 thousandths of a second, or 100th of a second, I think. Is it 100th? No, maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe it's 10 hundredths. Yeah, it's 10 hundredths. So every tenth of a second, it's going to move down. And what we're going to do is add to main x, add 1 to main x. Oh, we click that set, and add 1 to main y. And what it's just going to do is just move the tile down. So I've got to be quick because I think it's not already open. That was really slow. Oh, I've already did this. It's already open. Okay, that's way too quick. You imagine that. Okay, that's good because I was hoping that to be rubbish. So tick time 50. So that's half a second. Let's see what that's like. Maybe it is in milliseconds. So if I make that 500, maybe it is in milliseconds. Should be good if it is in milliseconds. A lot more control over it. Yeah. And obviously I'm an idiot because it would just affect the Y, wouldn't it? A lot of you probably watching that going, would it affect the X? No, it wouldn't. Just the Y. Still quite quick actually, when you look at it. I mean, you might wonder. I don't think it's. That would be a second, wouldn't it? I don't think it's as slow as a second. Yeah, and I think this is where a bit of trial and improvement comes in, and you get really obsessed with making sure it's absolutely perfect. I mean, that's pretty good. I think that's too fast still, but until we see the tile on the screen, very, very difficult to judge whether that's quick or not. And probably at this stage, to finish off this video, I want to import the tiles. I think it's time we did that. So what I need to do is for each of the tiles, and it probably would make sense to do them in order here. So the L shape's going to go first. And this is where my Photoshop skills come in handy, or not. Hopefully they do. So I'm just going to copy that. Control A, delete, and this will probably be way too small. So what I want to do is just make sure that the tile is 8 by 8. Paste it in wherever it is. Can I paste it in? There we are. Okay. So remember, I've got to put the background black because black is transparent. There are ways around. You can change that. I just can't be bothered. And what I want to do is I want to resize this to 40 by 40. I want to stretch, but I don't want to resample. Right, what I'm going to do now is just stretch this out because that's going to be 0. And I'm going to just repeat this for each of these. I don't know whether I can actually resize this without resizing the other one. Yeah, I can. Okay, so it's 8 by 8. Apply. and hopefully this works. It's going to be frustrating if it doesn't. Which piece is 2? So that side L shape, whatever, not L shape. Side piece there. Control C, then paste that in, and then resize it to 40. There probably are better ways of doing this. Okay, right. So the third one is the big square. Let's copy that. Control C, and let's just resize this so I can paste it in. Ooh, wants to enlarge the canvas. Oh, I put a 5. That's why. Keep forgetting. Right, there we are. And again, this is not the glamorous bit, but it's the necessary bit. This is the bit we do to get to the next bit. Right. So we've done the square, and so we're doing the L shape there. This is where concentration comes in to make sure you get there we go. Right, and resize, and everything's 5 times bigger, so that's why I'm stretching them out to make them 5 times bigger. Oh, where are we up to? Side L piece, and then it's the other one that goes across and down, this one here. Oh. Don't forget to paint the back. Nice. Then re-stretch it. Do we think this YouTube channel is going downhill? Probably. Across and down. There's this one. Control C. Resize it to 8. Paste it. There we go. And then move it back to 40. I could have moved it all to 40 at the end and just kept them at 8 and just resized the whole object. I don't know what, I think I just want more control. So this I've got to be careful because the height, wow, there you go. Okay, that's it. So I'm going to just do this piece for now, and then as you can see, like, it has actually 3 different pieces. This piece, then the 2 central pieces, then this end piece. But I'm not going to be worried about that just yet. Wicked. And what I can do is I can draw that piece in. So create a position. Oh, hang on. Have I checked the hotspots? No, probably not. So we need to make sure I check the hotspots for each of these. And if you watch many of my videos, you'll know I always put the hotspot at the top left. There are some games it's really helpful to have them in the centre of mass, or even have them bottom middle. But this, I think, because our arrays all start at 0, it's really helpful for positioning to have them at the top left. So we're just going to move the position, and you can't select position by using a calculation, but you can set X and Y coordinates. So I actually don't need to set the X coordinate because that will be the same. So just set Y coordinate, and it will be value of main Y times 40. Let's see if that works. Absolutely does not work. And then we've got to think, why doesn't that work? Because it's not currently at, okay. So start a frame. Set the X position to, where is it, 4 times 40. It's because it was off screen. There we are. Don't know why. the action point as well? I didn't know that. So it's just... let's move this anyway. Oh, I know why. Because I haven't taken into account the offset here. So, have I got that written down? That's 80. It's 80 pixels. So it needs to be 80 plus that. So there's the left-hand bit of the screen there. Is there one at the top? I don't think there's one at the top. Let's just see if this works. That seems to go well. And until we have like the ability to move the pieces and stuff, we don't know whether that works perfectly. Yeah, that works perfectly. Actually, looking at it. Cool. Oh, saved by the bell. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you want to see more from us, please click subscribe. We release videos every single weekday at 7 PM UK time. Thank you.